Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news. Dreams can come true. Look at me, babe, I'm with you. I was going to put my hand over the thing because she used to wear an eye patch. I thought that was a little bit unfair. But also, I thought most people won't even know who Gabrielle is. But the reason I say dreams can come true is because maybe we're going through the many stages of depression at the moment and positivity maybe reigns this morning. I did see an article last night. Oh, it was actually a video article on ESPN. Paul Mariner was saying that he thinks that Luke Shaw, Anthony Marcial will both stay and that Manchester United will sign Harry Maguire and Kovacic. Now, whatever you think about that, it could be relevant. It could be as relevant as any other decision anybody else wants to make about Manchester United transfers at the moment, because the reality is nobody has got a bloody clue what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks. And of course, at the weekend, we got Jose Mourinho saying we might buy people, we might not. He doesn't really know. As I said on the show last night, Harry Maguire has actually given a quote, which I think was really good, where he said that he's very happy at Leicester, but he's ambitious and he wants to play at the top level. That basically means I'm not going to disrespect Leicester City, but I want to go and play for a top team. So there's your invitation, Manchester United. There it is. And look, Richarlison, I think Ed Woodward's big problem is that he's a businessman, and the Glazers are businessmen, and they want to treat football like a business transaction. They don't want to pay 50 million for Sandros and Perisic's like last summer. They want to get a fair price. But you've got people like Everton spending 50 million pounds on an okay Watford winger in Richarlison. Football markets are not business markets, and this is the problem Manchester United have. Run by businessmen, not run by football people. And football is not. You can make a lot of money in football as a business, but it's not logical like a business, because you will get something ridiculous happen like the Richarlison deal, and that bumps prices up. So if you snooze, you lose. But United always want to get the good deal, and that's why it takes us so long to do things, and that's why it's really, really frustrating. But let's talk about, let me get his first name right, Ismaila Sarr, who plays for Senegal and also plays for Rennes in France. Very, very good player, very quick player, very skillful player, and now he's been touted around Europe. Manchester United have been mentioned, Arsenal, Liverpool, a few others. Very, like I say, very good player. Didn't have a bad World Cup. I mean, you wouldn't really judge him in the French league, but he is an exciting player. He's just turned 20. He's about 5'9". There's absolutely no chance he'll come to Manchester United because he's a development player. I keep saying this. I don't know why the press think that they can mug Manchester United fans off by linking us to anybody under the age of 22, especially wingers, because we've got a manager who doesn't like developing players. He wants the finished article. And this is part of the reason. I'm glad we mentioned Sarr, because he's a decent player and I'd be excited by United signing him, but we'll probably see him go to a rival. But this is why I was really excited. This is why Xavier Ribalta, who was the head scout that we acquired a year ago from Juventus, and I remember doing the video on this, and this is why United Stand community is really important, because it's not all about the sensational signings. We got Ribalta from Juventus, who was probably one of the best scouts in Europe, as our head scout at Manchester United. A year later, he's left us. Now, his job was basically, like at Juventus, was to identify talent and bring it into Manchester United or recommend it. And basically, the news is, from Manchester Evening News, is that his role was diminished as soon as he came to Manchester United and he wanted to get out, and he's gone to Zenit. But this goes hands in... It's a disappointment, but it's not a shock to me, because this goes hands in hand with our manager, really. He doesn't want players under 22. And I think if you're a scout and you're a good scout, you really are looking at players probably between the age of about 19 and 24 who've got that development to go to the top level. But we've got a manager who doesn't develop. So, again, just another shambles by Manchester United. I think the appointment was positive, but it's gone the wrong way, and that has caused us a problem. Also on Jose Mourinho, I just want to say this as well. I've put Mendes in the middle topic there. George Mendes is Jose Mourinho's agent. He worked on the Ronaldo deal, obviously, because that's his client. He's apparently now working on the Milinkovic-Savic deal to Juventus. Not because he's Milinkovic-Savic's agent, but because he gets on with Milinkovic-Savic's family. This is the report by Tuttosport. But I hear this more and more about Mendes. It's not always about the clients that he's got. He's sort of a super agent that will come in and make sure a deal happens. How many deals has he done for Manchester United? None. Apart from Jose Mourinho and contract renewals with David De Gea, who is his client, he brings us nothing. And that is just ridiculously weird. And again, another shambles residing over Manchester United like a bloody cloud, because George Mendes is the super agent in football and he does no deals for us at all. Because, well, the rumour is he doesn't get on with Woodward. I don't know what it's all about, but it's really, really weird, and it's another thing that harms us as a club. I mean, we've been dealing with Raiola for the last couple of years, and that's not gone that well, and I don't think we get on with him now. So is it any surprise that the transfer window so far has been a disaster because we're not getting deals done, because we have bad relationships and deal with the wrong sort of people? It is odd. I've put Jerome Boateng in there because everyone's sleeping on Bayern Munich, but there's a number of players from Bayern Munich that are for sale. Thiago Alcantara, as we spoke about last week, potentially Vidal, but also Boateng is available, and this concerns me slightly. I mentioned the name just to throw it in there because we all know that we're trying to get business done, and we're all talking about centre-backs, but Boateng wants to leave Bayern Munich, and Manchester United wants a centre-back. And I'm putting my hand to my head because I'm like, if we sign Jerome Boateng, I'm like finished with our centre-backs because, well, we're in trouble because I don't rate him. I know some people do, but I think he's ridiculously slow, and I think he'll get absolutely hammered in the Premier League, but he would probably play every week because we'd probably spend about 50 million on him. I just hope it doesn't happen, but I think even I was sleeping on it, so I wanted to bring it into the show just so it's not a shock for people if we actually end up going in for Boateng, because it's gone very quiet around Bayern Munich, but they have a number of players they're looking to get rid of. And I think that's a very important point as well. Our transfer window closes 2 weeks on Thursday, so literally about 2 weeks. 2 weeks we've got left. It's just amazing where this summer's gone and how little business we've done. But obviously for Bayern Munich, Italy and Spain and Germany, their transfer window doesn't close till the end of August. So they've got a little bit more time in relation to their acquisitions, but if they're looking to sell people to Premier League clubs, then it could be a busy 2 weeks around that. Anthony Marcial, I don't want to delve into Anthony Marcial too much. I did a video on it on Saturday, got a lot of stick for it when I said I think he'll go. The situation with Marcial, I think you can interpret it as this, because Jose Mourinho came out with some, he can't help himself with Marcial, can he? And for me, that was one of the nails in the coffin of Marcial leaving Manchester United again, because if you are Manchester United and you're trying to keep... Well, the situation is, Marcial wants to leave because of Mourinho. Mourinho wants him to go because he doesn't really like him. And Manchester United want him to stay because he's 22 years of age and he can go and be one of the best players in the world. So that's the situation. And you can flip it around however you want. And as a fan, you can say you want Marcial to stay and Jose to go. You want Marcial to stay and just wait it out until Jose goes. Or you want Marcial to go and you back Jose. They're the three things. And I suppose the club have got to look at it like that as well. But Jose coming out at the weekend with, when he was asked about it, well, I'm in one place and I wish I was in another, but that, you don't always get what you want. And I think just keep your gob shut, because that's just antagonistic towards Marcial. That is, if the club are really trying to get Marcial to stay, Mourinho coming out with that is basically very subtly and slyly shoving him out the door. And then he'll go to United and go, I've done my best to try and keep him here. Oh, I agree with you. We don't want him to go, but he wants to go. You know what I mean? But then he publicly comes out with a comment like that, which I read as being very sly and saying, look, get out. And that's the problem Manchester United face. Because, as many people have said, whatever you think about Mourinho, whether you back him or not, and it was a cracking show last night, click the eye in the top right-hand corner and get listening to it. It was brilliant. But whatever you sit on that debate, the reality is a lot of United fans feel that Mourinho will be gone in a year. Marcial could be here for 10 years. So from a business point of view, you've got to try and keep Marcial because Mourinho won't be here that long. And it's as simple as that. As for Paul Pogba, this nonsense from Marca coming out and saying that Pogba wants to go to Juventus. Last week we had some idiot saying 80% he's going to Barcelona. This week we've got Juventus again. 2 weeks it was Juventus again. It's just absolute nonsense. I mean, I may not be confident about Manchester United's future or its board, but I tell you what, even I don't think they'd let Pogba go. No way would they let Pogba go. Look at how much they're fighting to keep Marcial, and there are some United fans who would let Marcial go, but United are fighting, digging their heels in to try and keep him, as if Paul Pogba's leaving Manchester United in the next fortnight. He's on holiday for all of that. It's just not happening. He's not leaving Manchester United. And any idiot who says he is an idiot. Because I tell you what, if he did go, I think United fans would riot. I don't, not literally, but I think that there would be a massive fallout. And there's no way Manchester United want Pogba to go, and there's no way he's going to go. I mean, he's actually on holiday in LA, where Manchester United are. He had a picture with Valencia yesterday. He's had a picture with Lingard, who's on holiday as well. So it's just an absolute nonsense about Paul Pogba, and it's just not going to happen. Never in a million years, and it needs to stop, to be honest with you. What else did I want to talk to you about? Yeah, I did want to mention about Fred, because... Who's that? Oh yeah, I mentioned him. Yeah, there was a story in the Manchester Evening News yesterday about Manchester United are frustrated by this transfer window because they don't want to pay high fees, and it's a very slow transfer window because of the World Cup. And I just thought about that. If there's any truth in that, well, one of the things is, why are we surprised it's a slow window? We've been talking about this on this channel since last September. We said we've got to buy players in January because the transfer window that's coming up in the summer, this summer, is going to be massively shortened because of the World Cup. It's shortened because of the Premier League voting to close their window a month early. So we should have got business done in January, or we should have had our targets lined up and ready to go. We clearly haven't prepared for this transfer window. It was broadcasted months before that this was going to be a very difficult transfer window to operate in, and United have walked straight into it unprepared. And there's no excuse for that. And as for being, not wanting to play inflated prices, you know what? Go and manage Tesco or something like that, Glazers, because the reality is you might be businessmen, but the football market does not follow business rules. You can have a stupid summer where people spend 50 million on Richarlison, and that means you've got to spend 70 or 80 million on a Pit Perisic. And that's just the way it is. You can't sit there with your own little accounting book and say, no, Perisic is actually worth 40 million. Look at his age, look at his appearances, look at his stats. No, he's worth 40 million and we're not paying any more than that. And Inter Milan are like, up yours. You're not having him for anything less than 80 million. Oh, but my computer. Well, stuff your computer right up your arse because it's a load of nonsense. The football market does not follow traditional business rules. It is dictated to by trends, attitudes, and what other clubs are doing. And if you get somebody aggressively coming into a transfer market with big money, and there is a lot of money floating around in football. So someone like Everton can spend £50 million on Richarlison, who I keep mentioning because he's the perfect example of an average player effectively distorting a transfer market. But we've got Woodward, who wants to operate in a calculator transfer market where he is adding it up and going, no, not international appearances, this, that, no, nothing more than 40 million for Sandro. No, he's not even an international. It's nonsense. You get a player for what the club is willing to sell them for, or you don't get a player, and that's how it works. But we're run by businessmen, and that is the problem. Now, in relation to Fred, we'd obviously got that deal done a long time ago. We were working on it a long time. That's what Mourinho said. And I just want to finish on the positive and say this, that when it comes to this summer, it may well have been disastrous, and it may well be that we've only made one real signing. But I do want to just remind people that when it comes to Fred, I think that we've probably we may have made the signing of the summer, but we've certainly made one of the signings of the summer. And Liverpool can go on about Fabinho and Keita and everybody else, and whoever else signs anybody else, but we mustn't lose sight of the fact that Fred, if it goes the way it should do, could be a fantastic signing for us. And as bad as we've been on the tour, if you stick Matic, Fred and Pogba in a midfield three, that could solve a lot of problems. I mean, could, hopeful, please, they're all words that are relevant around Manchester United at the moment. There's certainly not certainty, but that midfield three could make a big difference for us. But of course, Matic and Pogba are coming off a very long season, a very big World Cup, and a couple of weeks off. How fresh are they going to be? That is a problem in itself. So I felt that maybe we needed another midfielder because I just don't think McTominay's anywhere near ready. And who else is there? Pereira looks good. Herrera, I don't know. But Fred could be a great signing. Anyway, loads and loads for you to discuss there. What are your thoughts about Manchester United's transfer window at the moment? If you had to say what we're going to do, let us know. Would you take Boateng? That's an interesting point. Sarr, is he a player we should be looking at? Why do you think we don't do any business with Mendes? Marcial, do you think we should let him go? Do you think, that's the most important topic to get commenting on. Marcial, what would you do with that? Would you let him go? Would you let Mourinho go? Or would you make Marcial stay and outlast Mourinho? Because we have got that year option next year as well. So who knows what could happen with that. Get your comments in below. Please do drop a like in the video, and I'll speak to you all later. Thanks for watching.